All right.
Do you want me to press record?
I'll press record.
No, no, I know.
Welcome to another episode of the Long Hop Cricket Podcast. My name is Dave. Owen sat beside me. Not as usual, as I don't normally do the intro.
No. Are we actually carrying on from
Yeah.
this? Okay.
We've carried on through worse.
True.
But
You
today we will be
dropping
doing
your ass. Go on.
a podcast regarding the most underrated players that have played since 2005 in the England squad. That is Test, T20 ODI.
Yeah. I think we should start videoing these podcasts.
Yep.
Yeah.
Why?
Your body language. As you're doing he does shrugs. He shrugs. He like puts his arms up in the air. Like people can actually see what he's doing.
Well, you
It's
can't.
brilliant.
I'm feeding off to you.
It's like, oh, shrug the shoulders, give some expression.
all right.
You look all sweaty today as well. What have you been doing?
It's none of your business. Dr. Holmes came in with this request. We may as well power through his comment.
Yeah, let's keep going.
Some of the examples Dr. Holmes gave was Tim Ambrose, Matt Pryor, Craig Keyswetter, Owe Shah, Tim Brez, none.
Like you're his best friend. Go
James Taylor, and Tris Tremlett.
Right. I'm guessing those aren't all for test matches.
No.
I know one of them you definitely agree with.
Yeah, well, we'll get on to that.
Okay.
Let's take us back to the 2005, I'm thinking. You're looking at that Ashes squad. Anyone underrated in that Ashes squad?
We're going underrated in any format.
Yeah, in any format.
Okay.
Just throwing some players out there. What about that Ashes squad at 05?
Underrated. Underrated is difficult, isn't it? Because usually if they're not highly rated, it's because they're not good. So underrated, I would say, is someone who is just better than they got credit for. But that's rare.
I'm thinking to this 05 squad. There's a lot of players there that were good, but were they given the title of being very, very good? It's like Matthew Hoggard. Is he underrated?
Yeah, Matthew Hoggard. I think that's a great shout.
I think Matthew Hoggard is an underrated bowler.
Yeah, massively underrated.
I think I've mentioned it on the podcast before, but there was a stat flying around that some analyst team went away and did all the averages for the players that have been gotten out by an English bowler.
Because didn't we have this argument about James Anderson and
we
Hoggard?
Probably have had this argument before. Anyway, the stat came out saying that Matthew Hoggard was the English bowler, the best ever English bowler to take wickets against the best ever international batsman. So he got more best players out than any other England player did.
Must have been a crazy study.
Yeah,
because they rated players, didn't they? So you give them a rating, and then you add up how many times they've taken them and all of that, and you get it all together.
So, for instance, Matthew Hoggard will get more points for getting out Ricky Ponting than he would Sean Tate.
Yeah, exactly.
And I do think Hoggy is a underrated player.
Yes.
Though, could he do much outside of England? Or was he accurate? Would he rely on his accuracy for that?
I think he got murdered in the Ashes. In Australia.
Well, who didn't?
Yeah, but I know he didn't time his playing Australia very good coming up against that team. Mm-hmm. But even if I don't know the stats. Even if Jesus Christ, right? Even if that was Dave's little companion going off in the background, which you probably didn't hear, but it's highly annoying. I don't know the stats, but even if he didn't do well abroad, I still think he's underrated.
Yeah, so do I.
I think he did well in the South African
tour. He'll do well. I'm thinking
Ashes.
Sri Lanka, Pakistan, India.
Yeah.
Is he just going to be murdered out there? Do you know what I mean?
I don't imagine. Did he go to Pakistan?
Well, he would have. He would have in his career, wouldn't he? I think he would have gone 05-06 as well.
I watched him play right at the end of his career at Worcestershire.
Yeah.
And he had such a short run up. And he was still just destroying people.
Yeah, he would.
Brilliant. And he was
he would run in on.
He'd sort of.
But I don't think he had a massive run up in international cricket anyway, really.
No, but he was kind of rather large.
What about.
But he'd beefed up. He was getting old.
What about Simon Jones?
I don't think he was underrated.
Do you think.
I don't think his career was long enough.
Yeah, I was going to ask
for him to get the credit.
Is it injury that has just said you can't be?
I think he was quite highly rated whilst he played.
Okay, fair enough then. Just running through that England squad of 05.
Ashley Giles, overrated.
I'm not bothered. What about Michael Vaughan as a captain? Was he underrated as a captain?
No.
No, you think he
Yeah,
got...
he's got massive credit for winning that series.
One player that I have to bring up
Oh, go on.
is Paul Collingwood.
Right. You think he's
One of the most underrated players.
underrated?
Yeah.
You think he's underrated?
I think... Well,
You
he's
think
underrated
people-
by you anyway.
You think people think he's worse than
We
he
should
is?
do a podcast just...
Well, yeah. All right. Paul Collingwood. I don't think he's underrated at all.
I think he's one of the greatest ever England players.
No, you don't.
He's one of my
No, you
favourite
don't.
ever England players.
He's one of your favourite.
Do you think
He's not one of the best ever England players.
Do you think we could get him on?
We need to get a little bit more than 30 subscribers, and then
Tell a friend and Collie's coming on. But I'd put Collingwood up there as one of the most underrated players.
What?
Because everyone thought he was shit, but he wasn't.
He was.
200 in Australia. Not many players have done that.
But that's like, you can't judge someone on the best thing they
Averaged
do.
over 40 for England.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't understand that.
Well, exactly, underrated.
It's not underrated.
Because you think he's worse than a player that averaged 40?
Do you think he was reliable?
Yes.
That's probably his best. It's like, I would not. If he was on the opposition team sheet,
Mm-hmm.
he would not be someone I would worry about. Like, what's he going to do? Like, well, don't hit it to him
Well,
in the field.
that's why he's
Don't
such an
take a
underrated
single
player.
to him.
This just all falls into the term underrated. Because he provided England with match-winning, or match-saving.
What was he? What was his label? What did he get in the team as?
Fantastic Collie.
But really,
Monty Panesar's batting coach.
no, batting buddy.
Batting buddy.
What did he get in the team as?
Lower order batsman. Middle to lower order batsman.
The lower order batsman.
No, middle to lower.
Right.
He batted what, 5, 6?
Yeah. I don't think he's underrated at all. And he was rated just right. If not a little bit overrated.
Could hit 80 consistently. So I'm not Duncan Fletcher.
400 balls.
Fantastic fielder, but he's never been underrated for his fielding, has he?
No,
Let's be honest.
he's not underrated.
That's okay. All right then, we'll leave it at that then.
You just.
I think
love
he is
him.
underrated. I think he is underrated.
You just think he's one of the best players ever.
He is.
That's why you think he's underrated, but he isn't. He's rated just right.
What about Ian Bell?
I don't.
See, there's been times in Ian Bell's career where it's been utter dog shit, but when he does score runs, it is
I think
like seeing a masterclass in
Yeah,
batting.
I think he has been treated pretty fairly, actually. Because everyone knows how good he is, because when he plays his best, like you say, it's like watching a masterclass on how to bat. But why are you looking like a parrotfish whilst I'm trying to talk? But but he just lacks consistent form, and he got ripped, and people take him apart, and he doesn't bat well. Because when they see him do really well, they're like, well, he could be one of the best players ever. But he just never sustained it.
So you
So
think
I don't
Belly's
think-
about right, or
No, I don't think he was underrated.
I
I think he got the full credit when he was playing well, and when he didn't, he got ripped for it.
You want to take that phone call now?
No, it's all right. More important stuff, you know.
Dr. Holmes has said O.A. Shah, and O.A. Shah made me think of somebody else, and that was Vikram Solanki in the ODI format.
Right.
No, I think Vikram Solanki was used as a super sub, and he was used unfairly as a super sub. I think Vikram Solanki should have been a player that got into that ODI team on credit and just should have stayed in that ODI team. I think he's a very, very good ODI team player. I think he was the first ever person to score 100 as a super sub. He was genuinely... We read out the England ODI team a few podcasts ago. Maybe it was last podcast. It was a couple of podcasts ago. And he should have been knocking on the door getting into that team 9 times out of 10 back in 05, 06, 04, 04, 05, 06 maybe.
I would agree that he is underrated simply because I have no idea about his international career.
Right then. So what about O.A. Shah?
I never rated him.
Who I've actually thought a few years ago would have thought he was the dark horse, the cheapest player you can get in IPL that would be the most successful. That's how Dr. Holmes brought up the idea of O.A. Shah in limited overs games. I think he is probably one of the best T20 players I've ever seen play.
What?
O.A. Shah is a fantastic limited ball player.
One of the best you've ever... What do you mean that you've seen in real life play?
Yeah, that was in real life.
Right,
yeah.
okay.
he's somebody who 10 years ago, 12 years ago, could play 360 cricket. Could hit the ball anywhere he wanted to. Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
bring that in,
especially in the English game. Yeah,
I'll tell you what I did. I've seen him play in real life, and it's the first free hit I ever saw in real life, and it was at Edgbaston, and I don't know which stand it is, but it's got like a metal framework roof above it.
Yeah.
And he was stood literally inches away from the stumps, got a short ball and pummeled it flat, and it hit the roof of the stand and shot back out into the middle. It was a monster hit. It was flat 6 into the roof. That was quite impressive.
So working through anybody, else you can think of, I don't know, what year are we going through now? 07, 08, anyone?
Do you think
around
Harmison was underrated?
No.
No? Why not?
Well, because he was dog shit.
He wasn't. He really wasn't.
05, he was good, but then...
I think he's very similar to Ian Bell.
No, I think Ian Bell's a better batsman than Harmy was a bowler.
When they were both doing their best?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I think Ian Bell could have been in the top 5 batsmen. Yeah, I suppose Harmy was once the best bowler in the world. He did hold that. If you're going to say Belly was the same, Belly was, given the right treatment, thought of in the right way, then I'm going to have to say Harmy is as well, I think. Harmison had bad times, but he also had brilliant times.
I would agree.
I'm not sure you can really argue the toss that much. Someone who's just come to my mind, Chris Reed, was always,
He looked like a vampire.
Well, I was just going to say they gave him the vampire treatment. We talk about Chris Reed. They're putting he's shit, he's the cross is coming up. What? Get away from him. I don't want to talk about Chris Reed. He's a bad player. But I think he was. Really? I think he was underrated. Yeah, well, Garen Jones got in front of him for fuck's sake.
Yeah, I know. I don't understand how he got in front of anyone.
I think Chris Reed was a gutsy little batsman, not the best, but
I don't think he even did that badly when he did play for England.
No, I don't think he did. Garen Jones was not a brilliant batsman. Chris Reed was a fantastic, one of the best keepers I've ever seen play.
Yeah,
in an English shirt anyway.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Brilliant with the gloves.
Yeah.
I think Reed, he was good. Okay, there was that. You always see that highlight of him ducking that slower ball Yorker.
Yeah. Do you think his chance was after Geraint Jones
was before
stopped?
No,
but Matt Pryor was better than him by that point.
No,
his best chance to get in the team was when Geraint Jones had it.
No, Reedy was in the team before Geraint Jones, but lost his spot through bad
form.
And then I think England will.
Because he did come back. He did play for England again.
Odds and sods.
Right.
But England, I think, were in that mindset that if you were bad enough to get out once, it's going to be hard for you to get back in. Like, do you remember their stories of Graham Swan spending 8 years out of the team?
Yeah.
I think under Duncan Fletcher, it was, if you're out, you're out.
Ian Bell did that.
Yeah, Ian Bell was out for a while, wasn't he?
He was out for quite a long time. Came back in 2010.
But I think Ian Bell was pretty much class, wasn't he? So had that ability to come back.
He was rubbish when he started for England.
Yeah, he was.
And then spent some time in county cricket and came back.
Anyone else before we start cracking through names of maybe, in the last couple of years? Anyone else you think underrated?
The thing is, when you're trying to think of underrated players, they don't spring to mind because they're underrated.
Just think, any of you had an underrated spinner? Was Swanee underrated? I think Swanee was known for being a brilliant spinner.
Yeah, Swanee was.
What about Monty Panesar? Underrated?
No, overrated.
No? Overrated. Thinking about, what about all-rounders?
No. Who have we had? We've had Freddie Flintoff. Yeah. He's definitely not underrated. And
so what about if I go through this list that Dr. Holmes has got? Probably the next person on that list is... Do you think Matty Pryor is underrated?
Possibly.
Possibly, yeah.
Possibly.
A good answer. Possibly, I think he might be.
I think the reason he never got massive hype is because there was always question over his wicket-keeping ability. They always questioned his wicket-keeping.
Yeah, fair enough then. Fair enough.
And I remember when he dropped Sachin, everyone was like, "Oh, that's an acid drop." I've never heard that term before, but yeah, I think that was the major question mark. Because he was always a really aggressive counter-attacking batsman.
Yeah.
And so maybe.
Okay.
Probably not as much as Chris Reed, I don't think.
So who would have gone to Australia 06-07? Anyone else we haven't mentioned that should be in that list, or should we move on?
We can move on. I think. I can't.
Who was the keeper?
I can't think that they'd have...
Was it Geraint Jones?
Surely Geraint Jones, isn't it?
Wow, no wonder.
It's like 2 years ago, or like a year ago, Geraint Jones was like, I'm going to make a comeback to play for England.
So
again.
what was the next Ashes?
After that?
After 07.
That was at 09.
09.
And that was when Ian Bell made his...
Yes,
back.
yeah. I'm just thinking, can you think of any... Have we had... Chris Tremlett comes to mind as underrated. I think Chris Tremlett would get into one of my all-time...
I think injury stopped
yeah,
him
but
from
I
getting
actually
proper...
think when Tremlett played, it was sometimes...
Like 2011 Ashes.
Yeah, it was
incredible.
Unmanageable.
Yeah.
To face
really,
him.
really
Absolutely. Dr. Holmes said Tremor, and I think he was unmanageable playing him sometimes.
good. Yeah, well, he's massive. Remember seeing him at Lord's?
Yeah.
That bloke is huge.
Yeah, big boy.
So, yeah, I mean,
big boy.
really hard to play
Big
when he
boy.
pitched the ball up and got it in good areas.
Oh, but then I think he would be able to ball that back of a length, and that would be able to pepper.
Yeah,
you.
exactly.
Fantastic
Yeah.
bowler. Actually, I think I probably would prefer him than Simon Jones, but that's saying something, isn't it?
I don't think so.
I like Tremor.
Depends on your conditions.
Yeah, it does.
They'd be great to have if you could pick between them.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, boy, you'd pick both, probably.
I'm actually going to bring out another keeper batsman. You might not be able to remember it. It's Paul Nixon.
I remember people talking about him, but his day had gone.
So Nixon got into the team very late. It was when Collingwood... Do you remember when we lost 5-0 in Australia?
Yes.
The ODIs came.
Which one?
07.
Yeah.
The ODIs came afterwards, and we I think we won the ODI series, or we lost 3-2, but it was a lot better anyway.
Right.
And Paul Nixon, I remember playing reverse sweeps and just thinking, this guy, and he was just very smiley, bold behind.
I don't think he's underrated.
No, I think he is. I think he was another one of 360 cricket.
Are you talking underrated as in...
Everyone thinks he's shitting on
No,
Ramsden,
I
but
know.
he's actually quite a good player.
But underrated for... He played county cricket and did really well. And never got an England chance.
No, this is in England. In England,
or his actual England performances, he never got the credit for how well he did.
I think when you think of Paul Nixon in an England shirt, no one gives him the credit he deserves. That's what I'm thinking.
What did he do that was so brilliant?
Played the reverse sweep here
Right.
and there. Was detrimental in that T20 when we won the T20 Cup.
Right.
But also brought a new mentality to England cricket.
By himself?
Yeah.
That is
a player
lie.
that could play 360 cricket.
That is a lie.
A player that didn't have to just sit there and,
Well, if that's the case, if he brought a new mentality to England's
I'm going to throw in another old name.
limited day cricket, he's definitely underrated because he never gets the credit for that.
Jeremy Snape. The moon ball. The 26-yarder.
Harry Potter.
If anybody, maybe Dr. Holmes might be able to remember Snapey, or we've got, is it Ed?
You say the 26-yarder?
The 26-yarder.
Right, I'm pretty sure, and if you know, you can comment, which I'm sure someone will. I don't think you're allowed to do that anymore.
What, ball from
That's
26
a no
yards?
ball, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, I think you have to be inside the bowling crease now.
Or was it 24-yarder? I think it was a 26-yarder.
I think you have to be inside the...
Maybe Cam from Australia or Ed, maybe those guys can come in and
Is it the popping crease?
Yeah,
the popping crease, the one in line with the stumps? Or the front one?
No, the popping crease is the batsman's...
Yeah, well, I think your feet have to be in... Your delivery, like
your
the
right foot can't be out of the
foot
26, can it?
Has to be inside the line that's in line with the stumps.
Oh, okay, right.
So you can't bowl further back than the stumps.
It could definitely be effective with a moon ball. That'll come down with snow on it, though.
Right. So he's underrated because he bowled very loopy.
Again,
and no one goes, do you know what? He's brilliant at bowling really loopy.
Again, it was one of those players
might
that
be
just
one of the best loopy
brought
bowlers.
a new mentality to English cricket. Right, let's...
Bowling loops.
I feel like I'm losing you. Let's... and you at home. Let's talk about maybe slightly more modern day cricketers.
Go on then. Have you got one in mind?
Yeah, I actually think Chris Jordan. I think in ODI cricket, I don't think people give him what he.
I don't think he's underrated by the pundits. They love him.
So maybe I'm saying that you think
he's
under. Yeah, maybe. Okay.
I think.
I think he's a brilliant fielder.
I'm yet to be convinced that he's brilliant.
A brilliant fielder.
You seem to rate someone's entire cricket on whether they're good at fielding or not.
He's a brilliant fielder.
But everyone should be.
No,
everyone should be.
I've seen 2 catches where there might be up there in the top
Impossible.
20 catches. Do you know what I mean? Like they are so good. They're up there in West Indies. Them slip catches. Whoa, I'll have a bit of that.
You think he's underrated because he's so much better at catching?
No, I think he's underrated because he's a good bowler, average to good batsman. He's not Chris Wokes.
I don't think he doesn't get the credit for that, though.
What about then Chris Wokes? Do you think he's underrated, or do you think
Chris
he's coming into his position now?
Chris Roke, yeah,
Wokes
definitely underrated, especially with how much Stokes gets credit.
Yeah, okay.
Wokes doesn't get anywhere near that amount of hype around him, and yet he's absolutely brilliant. I'd say he's, at the moment, comfortably the most underrated England player that plays. At the moment. Comfortably.
I've got a player in mind that's very similar to those players we've just mentioned.
Go on.
Brezzo.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Dr. Holmes has put Tim Breslin's name in his underrated players he's given to us. Do we like Tim Breslin?
I love Tim Breslin.
You said he smells.
No, I didn't. No, I'm pretty sure that's what Graham Swan said on his Swanee diaries of 2011.
But you think Tim Breslin's actually
great? Tim Breslin is a really good player.
But do you think he was just a bit meh?
No.
See,
he's like I'll tell you what he was like. He was like a better version of Paul Collingwood.
I was going to say to this. I was like, I think he's a bit meh, and you think Collingwood's a bit meh.
No, I don't think Collingwood's meh. I think Collingwood's rubbish. Not rubbish, but I think I'd rather have Tim Breslin in my team than Paul Collingwood. Definitely.
I've got a name for you. Blast from the past.
Go on.
Ryan Sidebottom.
No, not underrated.
What?
No.
I think Ryan Sidebottom is one of the best. I think I've said this about everybody.
Yeah.
I think Ryan Sidebottom is one of the best left-arm bowlers I've ever seen. I think Sidey in an England shirt was fantastic. I just loved watching Ryan Sidebottom.
I think he got plenty of credit.
No, I think he should have had a longer career then.
Are you just like best friends with Graham Swan?
I think Sidey is a brilliant player. This is last year. This is also a benefit year, so find his giving page or whatever that is. Give him a little tip.
What are you talking about?
Oh, he sponsored me for this one. We're going to go and watch Sidey play in this last year, aren't we?
So, I don't think he's underrated.
No?
No, I think he got loads of credit when he was doing really well. Could he swing? He could swing it both ways, couldn't he? Yeah, really useful.
Oh, yeah.
But
I
think
people
said that.
Different. It was like Hoggy, but with his left arm.
I don't think Hoggy could bowl it both ways, or not. He wasn't particularly efficient at it.
So when you say bowl it both ways, I think Sidey had that big in-swinger, but because he was left armer, he could put it across.
Yeah.
Whether that was swing or whether that was just that they didn't swing.
Hoggy could bowl away swing. I don't think he really bowled in swing at all.
What about when he used to trap the left-handers?
That's in swing, isn't it? But that's away swing to the right-hander.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So, but
right.
that's
so
his
similar
stop ball.
to Sidey then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Have you got any other names you fancy throwing out there? What are the likes of Jay Dernbach? Do you think they were treated unfairly? Do you think he was a better bowler than he was?
No, I think England's problem is actually overhyping players.
Right.
I don't know. It's rare, I think, that England have a player who ever gets less credit than they deserve. We usually pile way more credit on them than they deserve. Like immediately, like this is his first Test match. He's the next big thing coming out of, and they can take a wicket. Like, oh, that's the first wicket he'll take in a long career, and then you won't see him again for 5 games. Like,
Moving on to batsmen then. Dr. Holmes has got James Taylor in there. I don't think he was underrated.
He didn't have long enough, did he?
No, but
to be rated either way. I think people were becoming he was starting to become a pretty solid player in the England team.
Yeah,
I think he was starting to become highly rated.
I think he probably got the plauditory he deserved. I think
he spent a long time playing in the England Lions, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Yeah, he did.
So, I wouldn't say he was underrated because he wasn't like some phenomenon, was he?
No.
He didn't like just crush the international scene when he came and played for England. He was just steadily doing well.
Is Moeen Ali underrated?
No.
Is there not something we need to applaud him for keeping that spinning spot?
He's definitely not.
Because he has actually consistently been England's spinner. I'm not saying he's consistently performed, but he's consistently been England's spinner.
Yeah, he's not underrated by England. Definitely not.
But what I'm saying is he's not a spinner. He wasn't a frontline spinner.
He's not a spinner now.
But he's kept that England spinning spot. It's something impressive about that. He's never been Worcester's frontline spinner, right?
Right.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
But he's been England's.
How does that work then? That's ridiculous.
But then how has he kept it? How has he just not played so shit they've had to get rid of him?
I don't
know.
It's
why? How is he still England's spin bowler?
I don't know. We've had this argument.
That's because he's underrated.
He's not. He's definitely not underrated. Do you genuinely think he's underrated, or are you just doing this for argument's sake?
I think he gets a bit of a hard time with it. He gets a hard time from us because he's bowling shite. But I think he's actually probably could be a very, very good England player if they treated him properly. As in, put him in the batting line where he needs to be. And bowled him as second chain, like a second spinner. I think he actually is. He scored some brilliant hundreds.
Like a batsman who can bowl.
It's similar.
I don't think he's. I don't think he's underrated.
When you watch him go, it's similar to Belly. When you watch him go, it's an elegant.
He looks really good. He's
never. I don't think
he's
used
consistent enough.
But that's because I don't think he's used properly.
I don't think.
How can you be consistent at number 8? How can you be consistent at number 8? I don't know.
Well, you can be, can't you?
But you'll see him score 100, and then he's got back with the tail, and you see him score 12.
Yeah, well,
I don't think you allow.
He's not underrated.
I think he is.
Who do you think underrates him?
You, for starters.
Right, but because England cricket doesn't.
Right.
England fans love him,
but they love him for cult reasons, not for. Because he's got a great big beard and he spins the ball and he's shit. He's the underdog, basically. Moeen Ali is an underdog, and that's why England fans love him.
Yeah. Because he's not that good.
I think he could be very good.
That's not the question.
Right, I'm just trying to think back of a few. Have you got anyone else in the boiling pot? I think's underrated. I think I've thrown out some brilliant names. O.A. Shah was definitely underrated, and so was Ryan Sidebottom. But anyway,
I don't know if Sidebottom was underrated.
Anyone else you got linked up there?
Do you think, and this is going to get shot down straight away, but make an argument. Do you think Stuart Broad has got the credit he deserves? He hasn't, just simply because he's spent all of his career bowling in tandem with James Anderson. Like, if James Anderson never existed,
he's not.
Stuart Broad would have got a huge. He would be so much. So he would have got so much more credit.
I think when you look at England bowling, you're saying Jimmy Anderson's king, Broadie Prince.
Exactly,
1 and 2.
And you'd be like, well,
any other time in cricket, then he would be in front of Hogarth. He would be in front of Harmy.
Do you think, in that respect, he is actually?
No,
I don't think he's underrated, though, is he?
I can't give him that. He's my favourite ever player.
No, we're not talking about you.
I don't think he is.
I don't think that's to do with being underrated, is he? That's to do with credit, not being underrated.
I think Johnny Bairstow's underrated. Yeah, I think he could flourish. Whether he's getting the right rating now and whether he could push on and be a very, very good player is a different story. Maybe that's not asking if he's underrated or not.
He might. Yeah, he could be. I think he might be underrated.
What about Trotty? Do you think he got what he...
Yeah.
He's towards the end of his career. It's kind of like Belly. It kind of started to fall apart.
They messed about with him.
They did, yeah. And his average shot from 60 down to 45 or something.
He's not very good at opening. What? He made his debut at number 6. He's not.
Just like Collie.
Trotty was
very
brilliant.
Similar players. Very, very good players. Looking down Dr. Holmes' list, there's just one name. There's a couple of keepers we haven't mentioned. Tim Ambrose, you won.
Well, I thought he was rubbish when he played for England.
You've called him Gollum. Who else have you called Gollum before?
Lythe.
Yeah.
But apparently, by the stats, seems unlucky.
Yeah.
So probably is underrated.
Dr. Holmes has come back, and we'll read the comments in a bit, but he's come back at you.
I think it's because he was getting picked over Matt Pryor, and I loved Matt Pryor.
What about...
I just didn't understand
Craig Keyswetter? I think he was underrated. I think he could have been a very special one-day player.
Yeah, but I think he got the credit for that. People were buzzing about Craig Keyswetter.
Did he not be able to keep a spot because of injury? Well, Obviously,
Yeah, but he lost his spot before he got that bad
what
injury.
about someone else who's just come to mind, who is a fantastic ODI player, Luke Wright?
Possibly underrated.
Consistently plays very well.
I think he did
in IPL's tournaments.
He
and
did
Big
really
Bash
well
tournaments.
at the back end of his international career.
I think he was a very good player.
Yeah, and even once he was out of the England frame, started doing really, really well.
Yeah, I think
weird.
Wrighty for him not to be consistently in the T20 team. I think it's
No, yeah, I think that's a good
slightly
shout.
weird
As
actually.
being underrated.
Yeah, I think Wrighty.
He was like a better version of Paul Collingwood. He was like a 2020 version of Paul.
Yeah,
Collingwood.
he was a probably more not as ugly version
really,
as College.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
really similar bowling, if not a little quicker and better.
Anybody else that you can think of?
I was trying to think of an all-rounder that's been underrated, but England just...
Well, I suppose Wrighty, isn't it?
But England love all-rounders. As soon as we get a half-decent, we go mad over them.
Yeah. Was Trescothick underrated?
No.
It's been very hard to find an opening pair, hasn't it? And we found one with those two.
Yeah.
Trescothick and Strauss. Okay, Strauss and Cookie, but since then it's been nothing.
Do you reckon Strauss was underrated?
No. I
His
don't
batting?
think so. Was who?
For his batting?
No.
No?
No.
You don't like him, do you?
No, I think Strauss got the plaudits he deserved. He got very good plaudits.
Did he?
Yeah, I think he was known as England's wonder kid, especially when he first came on the scene.
Wonder kid?
When he first came on the scene, he was like, wow, he's scoring back-to-back hundreds.
And then they were desperate to drop him.
Yeah, because he
And
was
then he
shit.
made 100 and something against South Africa and they kept him in the team.
If there is anybody we think we've missed off, we're looking at you guys who know English cricket. Maybe you know it more about that 05 period than we can remember.
Yeah.
Maybe those ODI teams, the likes of Ian Blackwell, was he underrated? Any of the bowlers, the batsmen. Make sure you drop us a comment. We'll have a chat about it later on. We're going to go through comments now. I'm going to start reading them out. Jack Peters has said Nick Compton plays for Middlesex and he has returned. So Comp Dog's back.
That's good to hear.
I might have said he played for.
Yeah, I think you got that wrong.
Warwickshire.
But he's
back
that's
for
good to hear that
Middlesex.
he's back.
Yeah. SJ, I think you are talking about P. Shawala, but that dude doesn't spin on a square turner. They can hear the dog, you know.
Yeah, well, I can't help if your dog starts attacking me in the middle of it. This is unprofessional. It's a good job we're not being paid for this.
I think I actually had a look, SJ, and I think it is Shawala, the player you're mentioning. David Warner is a home bully, but shit outside Oz. Average 25 in Asia. That is pretty shitty for a man that has scored century in the first session of a test match. Bully the bully. Hashtag bully the bully.
Yeah. No. He might have averaged bad in Asia, but there's a lot of very good players that have not done well in Asia.
I think he is a home bully, though, isn't he? He will bully you at home. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but why does that mean he's bad?
Right. Dr. Holmes has come back. I understand that having a test league would be very difficult to manage, and it would be hard to give all the teams equal amounts of games. But what do you guys think about a test try series? When I read this comment, I thought fucking brilliant.
Right, I've read this as well. How would you go about doing this then?
So can I
Go on.
finishes? Can you imagine India, England, South Africa playing in England in a test try series? That would be one hell of a series. And Australia, New Zealand, Pakistan playing in Australia? I mean, shit, I'd watch every game. So would I.
Yeah, how would this work?
So you have let's say they would all play each other 3 times.
Okay.
And then they'd go in a little league, and the top 2, so let's say England and Australia with the top 2, they play each other in a final.
So they'd all play each other 3 times?
Yeah.
How long would this take?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. How long would it take? Maybe twice then. But yeah, you're right. How long would it take? I think it's been very successful in ODIs. I've loved watching try series and ODIs. I think they're very good. Actually, I think it would make Test cricket more exciting.
Oh yeah, that would be really cool. be really interested to see it. It would be cool having a final test match. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like having a final that's a test match.
Yeah, I think that'd be
Like,
really exciting.
That would be awesome.
And I think just having a little, it's almost like a league table.
Where do you think England would want their final?
In England.
In England, though.
Edgbaston.
What ground? Edgbaston.
I think Edgbaston's England's got to be one of
I
England's
think they might go for Headingley.
strongest, or Headingley. But I think Edgbaston, I just think the crowd.
Lords would be the last one they'd want it at, I reckon.
Yeah, I think Lords offers a lot for everybody. SJ and Dr. Holmes have gone after each other here. Might just leave it at that.
What?
Or
What do you mean?
Or do you want to hear the comments?
Go on.
They're talking to each other.
Are they?
It's not a private conversation between them.
No.
Would you like to hear?
Sorry.
So SJ and...
They're going at each other.
Well,
Why?
they're talking to each other.
What are they talking about?
Well, I don't know. I haven't read them yet.
Let's read
Do
them.
you want to hear them? SJ, nope, the best will be Sri Lanka, India and South Africa in Sri Lanka, because not in 100 years England or Oz can win in Sri Lanka.
Sorry, I don't understand what you said there.
Sri Lanka will beat, in that tri-series of Australia, New Zealand, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, he said Sri Lanka will win, but Sri Lanka...
Did he even mention Sri Lanka?
No, I'm not sure. Anyway, Dr. Holmes, Sri Lanka is meh. Sri Lanka are shit at the moment, aren't they? That's SJ, that's why Oz lost 3-0. Know your cricket, bro.
I don't understand what's happening here.
Dr. Holmes, come back if you think the current Sri Lankan team is good and you completely lost it. And the Oz team they beat was the shittiest Australian team to tour Sri Lanka. And that's about where it ends. There's a couple more comments, but we don't need to get into that. Dr. Holmes has come back. I was at Multan Stadium in 2005 when Sean Newdle made his test debut against Pakistan, underrated player. Sorry, but he was terrible.
The noodle.
Tim Ambrose played his last test. As a pop at you.
Yeah, no, it's not a pop at me.
Series against West Indies in 2009. He scored 2 50s in 2 innings. He scored 76 not out in his last test innings and was never picked again. I feel bad for that man. Very underrated player, Tim Ambrose.
Well, I think it's Matt Pryor's the reason he didn't play again.
I liked Timmy. Sean Newdle, he was shit, but he was so old it was brilliant.
The pot noodle.
He actually had a balding head. He was old. He got. I think one of his first wickets was either Dravid. Was it VVS Laxman? He got Tendulkar. Fucking brilliant player. Right, there's a very long comment from SJ here. He's put a lot of research into it. Go to episode number 30. It's too long for us to read out, I'm afraid. And it will tell you why India. His comment will tell you why India is the best team in the world. But a lot of really interesting research into
test rankings,
and he's actually been able to link up to say the point system. I'll just quickly run through the point system. India away 4 wins. Australia away 7 wins. Okay, but 5 losses. Not be disrespectful.
I'm not being disrespectful to his comment. He obviously knows what he's talking about.
I actually think if you're interested in test rankings,
boring.
Go and have a look at SJ's comment. Spend a little bit of time, run through that.
That's why.
SJ, I think you should go after Owen in the comments.
No.
Yeah, I think he's being disrespectful.
No, I'm not being disrespectful.
The guy's put a lot of effort into this comment, and I've read through it. And it's really interesting stuff, actually. And you're saying it's boring. SJ, if it wasn't for me, I'd unsubscribe.
I'm not.
Simple as that.
I'm not saying that he hasn't done lots of research and doesn't know what he's talking about. My point is that nobody cares about the test ranking.
Well, we spoke about it multiple times. We care.
No, we don't.
Well, I do.
No, we don't.
I care about it.
That's why we talked about it.
I care about that.
That's why we're saying you should get rid of it.
Yeah, but we care about that.
It's rubbish.
That is. But he's saying that India are the best team in the world at the moment, and you're saying they're not.
I never said that.
Well, you just did that. You just
No, I didn't.
shook your head.
No, I didn't.
SJ, I'm here for you.
I bleed blue, mate.
Hashtag bleed blue. Hashtag everyone's a
That
cheat.
could be England.
Right, SJ's.
What did you say then?
Everyone's a cheat. He normally comes in and says, "Not the Aussies are cheats, aren't
Right.
they?" Guys, in ICC tournaments, India are forced to use DRS. I hate that word, forced. Oh, come on, SJ. They're not forced. They are forced, but it's an aid.
What's
Slightly negative.
he saying that they have to use it?
And Dhoni has got 21 out of 24 times success rate, and Virat Kohli 17 out of 53. Remember when he said Dhoni should just be in the team for his DRS decision?
Okay.
Cody just needs to learn how to use it. Simple as that, isn't it?
Well, I just think Coley's just way more aggressive, so he's just
and a horrible, horrible person. I think we should end it there.
Okay.
Speak to you sometime soon.
Good ending.
Smash
that subscribe button and give us a like. Comments are always welcome.
Well, that was quick.
Cheers, guys. That was a really good episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, let us know why. And if you did, just give us a thumbs up. Really, thanks. I hope we did well, and we'll come up with some more ideas for another podcast. Yes, it was wasn't it?
Well, you're not being very nice to them.
Go on, then you finish it.
See you next Sunday.
Good.